If you guys ever thought about making your curtains automated, making them open by themselves, setting schedules, opening them with your phone or with your smart devices, this is going to be a great device for you. Now, SwitchBot sent out 2 smart curtains for me to take a look at, but along with the curtains, they also sent a lot of accessories that actually works with the curtain just to make your experience better. Now, the first one is going to be a set of solar chargers, and these plug directly into your curtain, guys, via USB-C. So with these, there's 2 methods of mounting them. You can either mount them directly behind the curtain opener, or you can go ahead and plug it in and dangle it down if your curtains are mounted too high where the sun cannot reach them. Now, the next accessory is going to be a smart thermometer / hydrometer. Now, this is a pretty cool addition as well. Now, with this, you can have your curtains open or close automatically based on the temperature or humidity, and you can easily set this up in the application. Now, they also sent out a switch, and this is Bluetooth connected to your curtains or to your smartphone, guys. Pretty straightforward, 2 buttons on it. You can set it to whatever you want, but in this setup, I did set one to open the curtain, one to close it, and I'll show you guys how to get that all set up here in a little bit. And last but not least, they sent the Switch Hub Mini. This is going to be an integral part of the operation. So how this comes into play is that all the devices that I previously looked at are connected to your phone via Bluetooth. And what the Hub Mini does, it acts as a bridge. It connects those Bluetooth devices to your Wi-Fi network or your internet connection, and that gives you the freedom to actually do everything that you can do in the home while you're out of your household. And it also has the functionality where it connects to your smart devices. So this video, we're going to unbox everything, we're going to test everything out, see how they perform, but let's go ahead and start out with the smart curtain openers. So before we get into the unboxing, I had to show off my new little tool, guys. This thing is awesome. It's a bottle opener, it has a knife on there, it has a screwdriver, also has an Allen wrench in there, but this is probably the coolest thing that I bought myself within the past month or so. So let's go ahead and get the box open. Now, while I'm going through this, I should let you guys know that this comes in 2 different colors. You can either get them in black or in white. I opted for the black one. First thing in the box, you're going to have the user manual. Basically, this is going to be a Bible, guys. It's going to tell you everything you need to know about the setup. Next, you're going to have your metal rings, and where these come in handy is if your curtains are joined, guys, and this creates kind of a ramp that you can wrap it around your curtain. That allows the SwitchBot to run up and down the curtain smooth, and I'll show you guys how to install that here in a little bit. Next, you have a set of clips, guys, and depending which curtains you have, you might have to use these clips. Unfortunately, I don't have those curtains to demo, but what you do is just click these on the top of the curtains and go ahead and just connect those to the actual openers. But I'll put a graphic here where you can kind of take a look on how to use these. Alright, so you have some accessories in the box. You're going to have a USB-C to USB-A, and this is a pretty long charger. All you need to do is plug this into a USB brick. You have USB-C to charge it, and you're all set. Alright, you also have a set of plastic strips, and again, depending on which type of curtain you have, you might have to run these along the curtains just to help it glide on the rod. This might come in handy for some installation, but hopefully you won't need this for the setup. Now, last thing in the box is going to be the SwitchBot smart curtain, and like I said, this is a beautiful design. 2 sides do pop out because in some cases you might have to take one side out just to install it on your curtain. For the rod method, you really don't need it, but in some curtains you might have to take the side off to get it installed. Looking around the device, hard plastic everywhere. You have a USB-C on the front. You also have a pairing button or power button, and below that you have an LED indicator. Now up top you do have some anchor points, and this works as a clamp, kind of cinches up and down depending how big your curtain rod is. Now if you look on top, you have a motor right here. That's going to be your main drive motor for the curtain, and underneath the top cover you also have 4 additional rollers, and this is just make sure that everything rolls smoothly when you have it attached to the curtain rods. So before we get it all set up, let's go through some of the main features. So of course, one of the biggest selling points is that this is very easy to install. This is of course battery operated, so you don't need to have it to a constant power source. Comes in 2 colors, black and white. As far as the curtain rod type, you will need to specify this at checkout just to make sure you get the proper one. There are 3 basic types. So the rod, which is the version we're looking at today, they also have one for U-rail, and they also have one for an I-rail. So before you order it, just make sure you kind of check out and see what kind of curtains you have at your home. So along with the easy installation and the different curtain types, you do have multiple ways to control via Android, iOS. You can talk to your smart devices to have it open it and close it, and we'll demo all this here in a little bit. You do have self-timer in the application, a light sensor. You also have the smart hub, which also integrates everything with your smart devices, so your Google, your Amazon devices, IFTTT, and of course this looks really good and it performs really well. Now as far as the battery, this does come with a lithium-ion battery, which boasts that it would last for up to 8 months. In my testing, guys, I haven't had to charge this not even once. Over the time I've tested it, it's dwindled from about 94% to about 90. Cool thing about this as well is that there is a solar panel that's easy to install that's also available, and we'll hook that up here in a little bit just to show you how that will work. And with that, you will never need to charge it manually again. Pretty cool. So because I have two curtains, I will be using both smart curtain openers, and you notice on one of my curtains, guys, there is a connection where the smaller rod goes into the larger rod, and this is where the rod connector is going to come in handy, and we're going to go ahead and get that up. While we're here, just know that the SwitchBot will fit curtain rods with diameters from 15 millimeters all the way to 40, so keep that in mind as well. So the rod connector, it is a metal piece. It also is connected to a piece of sticky tape, so what you need to do is just peel it off. Then you're going to go to your rod, guys. You want to go ahead and try to center it. There is a line on the piece of paper, so you want to put that line where that rod joins, and then just wrap it around as neat as you can. So installation is going to be pretty straightforward. You want to have the back with the USB-C port facing towards the window, and the front you should be able to just snap it in, cinch it all the way down, and now you're all set. Just make sure you install it in between the first loop and the second loop of your curtain if you're using a standard curtain rod. So what we're going to do is just do it for both, and then we're going to go ahead and get it synced up and get it paired to the application. What we're going to do is download the SwitchBot application. This can be found in your Google Play Store or your App Store on your respective device. Once you download the application, you are going to need to go ahead and sign up. So go ahead and create an account with an email address and a password. So go ahead and get signed in, add your curtain. Now it's going to tell you to hold the pairing button for 2 seconds. The LED should start flashing. So go over to the first device, hold your pairing button for 2 seconds until the LED starts flashing. So during the initial setup, it is going to ask you to name your curtain. So you can go ahead and just give it whatever name you like to call it. Click next. And now it asks you to pick your curtain type. For me, I have the rod, so I went ahead and picked that. Now you get to choose the style of smart curtain that you have. There are two different styles, guys. One has a clip, the other one doesn't. The one that I currently have does not have a clip, so I went ahead and chose that one. It's going to bring you through the setup, how to use the rod connector, how to place your curtain rod. Now we're going to go ahead and choose open mode. So it is going to ask you what kind of setup you have. If you have two curtains, if you have one. If you have two curtains, of course, it's going to have you add that second device, and we're going to go ahead and repeat the process. So once you have both devices added, guys, it is going to bring you to the calibration mode. And what this does is just have you set your limits of how far you want the SwitchBot to actually travel on each side. So it's going to ask you to bring your curtain all the way to the open position. Go ahead and select it and bring it back to the closed position just to set that point. So of course, if you have two devices, you are going to have to do this twice. So take the time, guys, just make sure you get it correct, because this is going to ultimately decide how successful or how well this works. So here we are in the application, and this is where most of the magic is going to happen. So if you click on Studio Curtains, you can see that you have three basic functions. So the first one is to fully open the curtains. You can see that it says bingo. You can pause it in the middle if you wanted to go and do so. Finish the curtains being open, and then you can also fully close them. All right, so those are the three basic functions, but if you click on more, you can see you have a couple options. First, you're going to notice that it shows you the status of your curtains. Below that, it gives you battery percentage, so I'm at 94% currently, and you can see up top above that you have the option to open, pause, as well as close. Now below that you have the full sliding, guys. So this is actually a very cool function. Because you have two curtains, you can actually set it to wherever, and both curtains will kind of follow that same distance. So if I go, let's say 86% open, you can see it just moved it a little bit. Let's go to 63, moves it some more, or I can slide it all the way open. And you can see now the curtain are fully open. Below that, you have your slider control mode. So if you click on it, you can actually isolate which side you want to work with. So if I wanted to go the single side, I can do that. Now when I go back up, I can control the left one. I can fully close it. And I can control the right one as well. And let's go ahead and close it all the way up. Alright, so that's pretty cool. So let me go back to both sides, but good to know that they give you that option. That way, if you wanted to just open one curtain, you also have a light sensing mode, which basically detects the amount of light in the room, and then it will go ahead and automatically. So you can go ahead and set that up if you wanted to do so. You have your schedules. Again, you guys can make your own schedule, do certain tasks. Let's say you wanted it to open at 7 a.m. every morning. You can go ahead and do so, and you can set the dates as well as how open they're going to be. So for instance, if I wanted to open at, let's say 11:38 Mondays and Thursdays, and I just want it to be about 52%, you can go ahead and do so. And below that, you do have the performance mode option as well. We'll get into that when we get further down into the app. They also have a delay mode, and what you can do with that is just basically set it how far, how many minutes, how many hours you want it to open. Let's say I want it to close in 2 hours. I can go ahead and do so. I can set whatever action I want and also have control to set the different mode, which I think is a good touch. Below that, you have the motion mode. So if you click on the motion mode, you have two basic modes that you're working with. You have the silent and you have performance. By default, it's on performance. So silent will make the motor more quiet when you slide it open, but you do sacrifice some speed as well as performance. So let's go ahead and test both modes. So right now it's on performance. Let's go ahead and open it. So one issue that I noticed on mine is that the performance as far as being in silent does kind of impact the side of the curtain that has the connected rods, and I think it's something to do with the adjustments to compensate going from a smaller rod to a bigger rod. So that might be the issue, but you do see that it does lose some power, and also mine is having some issues there just moving along the rod. So that's something I'll have to play with and see if I can get it sorted out. So for me, performance mode is what I'm going to use. Really, I don't mind the noise. If the curtains are open in either modes, you're going to hear it. So that's my takeaway. Alright, so up top you have your settings. So you have your advanced settings. You do have a touch and go option. With the touch and go, all you need to do is essentially go to the curtain, kind of tug it a little bit, and then we'll go ahead and open. So let's go ahead and try that out. Below that, you have your calibration, which basically is what we did at the beginning, guys. Basically set your curtains distance, and this is where you run it all the way to the end, pause it where the end point is, run it back to the middle, pause it in the middle, and then do it for both sides, and that should set the distance for your curtain. So we also have two solar chargers. Depending how high your curtains are installed, you can either plug it in directly to the back of your smart curtains, or if you want, you can stretch the cable out and make it lower. So in the box, you're gonna have your manuals. It's gonna show you how to hook it up. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It's USB-C. Also, you have a couple of Velcro with sticky, and this is in case you want to mount it to a window or something, or somewhere where it will get enough sunlight. Now, as far as the form factor, it is well built. The front is going to have the solar panel, of course. In the back, you have a couple hooks where you can hook it up to maybe a curtain, maybe a blinds or something, anywhere where you get it in the sunlight. On the front, you also have a light sensor, and this will determine if you have enough light to go ahead and charge. Like I said, there are two basic ways to set it up. One is to plug in directly, and it will just dangle on the back of your smart curtain. But you also have the option to kind of pop the back plate off, and then you can go ahead and untangle the cable, and then you have some room to plug it in to your smart curtain, and now you have a little bit more flexibility if your curtain rods are mounted too high. For me, unfortunately, my rods are too high, so if I mounted it directly in the back, it will not get any sunlight. But what I did is I just dangled it on the blinds, let it charge, and the good thing about this is that because the charge in the curtain rod lasts so long, you really don't need to have it in there all the time. So nice little addition in my opinion. So when you are charging by the sun, you can see that there is a icon next to the current that you're charging with, and that's how you know it's charging. As far as how fast it will charge, it really depends on the sunlight. Definitely not a fast charger, but if you just leave it out there, you will see your battery percentage go up. So the next thing that we're going to take out of the box is the smart remote. This is a pretty straightforward install. 2 buttons on it. There's a battery. All you need to do is get it out, pair it to the application, and then you can connect it to the smart curtains, which allows you to actually use a physical button to open and close it. So I love this addition. It is an additional option. Maybe you don't have a smartphone, maybe you don't want to use a smartphone. All you need to do is click a button and you're all set. And as far as what's in the box, you have a booklet to kind of show you everything that you need to do to get this set up. This part is going to be straightforward, and I'll show you this once we get over to the application. You also have the main switch, and like I said, 2 buttons there. One's indented, one isn't. And you also have a clip, and you have a 3M tape. That way you can stick it wherever you need to and just be on the move. So to get started on this, guys, use the clip that was provided in the actual box, pop the back open, and just remove the protective plastic from the battery. Put it back on, and you should be ready to get this paired up. So on the application, you're going to hit plus. You're going to go to remotes. It's going to tell you to click both buttons at the same time for 2 seconds. So let's go ahead and do that. So you will have a flashing light, and it did give us a little beep. So we're going to hit next on the app. All right, so found the remote right away. I'm just going to leave the name as is for now. And now I'm going to click next. All done. And you can see now I have both devices. So because I have both devices, I still haven't assigned anything for the remote to do. So if I click buttons, it's not going to really do anything for me. So what I need to do is go to my curtains. I'm going to hit on more. I'm going to go to our settings, and we're going to go ahead and pair with remote. All right, so you can see it did find the remote. Shows you that you have 2 buttons to play with here, and it's pretty cool because now you get to assign what each button does. So you can see one has a little divot in it, the other one doesn't. So we're going to start on the one with a hole in the middle. So we're going to click on that. So for that button, what I'm basically going to do is just have it open the curtains all the way. So everything looks good right here. We're going to hit next. All right, and now we're going to set the second button. So click on that. For this one, I want to set it to fully closed. All right, hear the beep again. And let's go ahead and we're going to give it a shot. So So next we're going to have our thermometer / hydrometer, and what this does, guys, is going to measure humidity. It's going to give you the readout of the temperature in your actual room. Now this can come in handy in a number of circumstances. Like I said initially, you can go ahead and program it to automatically open the curtains if certain conditions are met. So you can have it open the curtain if it's a certain temperature. So in the box, the first piece is going to be a stand, and you're going to have a magnetic strip with sticky tape on the other side. Now next, they did give you 2 AAA batteries. This is what this unit takes. Let's go ahead and get those popped out. And of course, you're gonna have a user's manual. It's gonna tell you how to add this to the application, as well as how to use the device. All right, let's go ahead and peel this off, and we'll go ahead and install the batteries. Like I said, this metal strip will go ahead and stick to the back of the unit, and that makes it easy to mount it, take it off, and put it back on. So I like this addition as well. So back's gonna have a button where you can go ahead and change the readouts, so you can toggle between Celsius and Fahrenheit. As far as pairing it to the device, go ahead and hold the same button in the back. You will see that Bluetooth icon start flashing. That's how you know you're in pairing mode. Once you're in pairing mode, you need to head over to the application. You can go ahead and add meter, and it should pick it up right away. Now from here, guys, you can go ahead and just give it a name. I'm just gonna name mine thermometer, and you can see now it's been added. All right, so you do have a readout. It's gonna give you your history. From there, you do have a couple of settings that you can play with. So you can essentially play with the alarm humidity, alarm temperature, and that way you can get a notification when it hits a certain point. You do have the calibration for the device temperature as well as humidity, and further down you have the option to update your firmware and delete the device. So next we're going to take a look at the Home Mini, and this device will essentially make it connectable from the internet, guys. So this is a relay, connects the Bluetooth device to your Wi-Fi, then allows you to to control it when you're not in the household. This also has an IR blaster, so you can program this to control devices that uses an IR remote. So if you have a TV that you wanted to control, you can go ahead and add this. If you have a air conditioning unit or something that uses an IR remote, you should be able to go ahead and add it and control it from within the application. So inside the box, you're going to have a power cable. This is going to be a micro USB to USB-A, and we're going to have a sticky tape or two-sided tape to mount this wherever you like. I should let you know this does not use the battery, so you will have to supply constant power to this device. On the back, you're going to have a hook where you can go ahead and mount it on a screw, whether you put it on the wall or you have a special area you need to put it, you can go ahead and mount it. But it also comes with a two-sided tape, like I said, when you can just go ahead and stick it on within that square and just put it on your wall and you're all set. So underneath, you're going to have your power port, and again, just plug in your micro USB cable, plug it into a power brick, and should be good to go. As far as setting up the device, there is a button on top. All you need to do essentially is hold that down, and once it starts flashing, guys, it should go ahead and pick it up. Next, you're going to select your Wi-Fi network. Remember, this only works on the 2.4 gigahertz. Put in your password, click OK, and you can see that the device is all found. So now if we go into the hub menu, you have a couple options. You have your schedules, you have your light, but if you click on add appliance, this is where you can add your TV, add your air conditioner, add your DVD player. Just remember that that device actually has to have an IR remote, not a Bluetooth remote, so keep that in mind. Now if you click on settings up top, you have your advanced settings, which is just going to go into your network. You also have your login. It's basically going to tell you everything will happen. You can see that Alexa open and close the studio curtains right here, and further down you can see it had an error. So whatever happens is going to tell you, and this is a good addition to have. Below that you have your firmware, and you have the option to delete this device. So first thing you guys will notice is that now that I have the Hub Mini added, now I have the cloud icon next to all of my devices. And what that means is that I can go in, I can disable my Wi-Fi, and then I should still have full control. So if I click on the curtains, let's say I wanted to set it to 50%. You can still see that that works with no issues, even though I am on my 5G network. So that's where the Hub Mini comes in and kind of ties everything together, guys. So now that everything's tied in, now we should be able to go in, go to our scene, and just add what we want to happen. So let's go ahead and check it out. So go to scene, and we're just going to go ahead and create a new scene. All right, so we're going to add a condition first. So add, and we're going to go ahead and select thermometer. All right, we're going to go based off temperature. To the left, they have higher than and lower than. So what I want to say is that if the temperature is higher than, let's do 25 degrees Celsius, which is about 77. So if the temperature is higher than 25 degrees Celsius, what do we want to happen? So, and we're going to go to studio curtains, and we're just going to go ahead and say, hey, let's close it if the temperature hits above 77 degrees. All right, so we can go ahead and we'll test it. Let's trigger it. And you can see that the curtains just actually closed up. And we can do some more. Let's try another one. We'll just add another scene. And this time, let's just try schedule. So we're gonna say at 7 p.m., which is 1700 on every day. Let's just set it for every day. We want the curtains to fully close, and we're gonna stick with performance mode. So basically every day, if I'm not home or whatever the case is, the curtains will automatically close at 1700. So both of those have been added, and you can go ahead and you can turn it off, you can turn it on, depending what you want to do. So now that everything is paired, like I said, you do have controls from the application, even if you're off the network, guys, which is a great addition. But to take it to the next level, you want to get these connected to your smart devices. So to do that, go to your settings, and depending if you want to add it with Alexa or if you want to add it with your Google devices, you can go ahead and do so. Now, if you have the Echo application or if you have the Google Home app on your device, the connection is going to be straightforward as well, guys. If you click on enable, essentially take you to the application, you sign in with your SwitchBot username and password, and then you should all be set. Now, same thing is going to go for Google Home. Like I said, click enable, sign in with your credentials, and everything should now be connected. Now with this connected, guys, now you have the option to use your voice to control all of these devices. Close studio curtains. Set studio curtains to 50%.
I don't know how to set studio curtains to that setting.
Open studio curtains. Set studio curtains to 50%. Set studio curtains to 75%. So you can see there, my test at least looks like the Google had more functionality than the Amazon smart devices. But let me know what you guys use in the comments section of this video. So big shout out to SwitchBot for sponsoring this video. I will be leaving links to all the products that we talked about in the description of this video. As far as the different type of smart curtains, they are going to be different based on which type you choose. So normally the raw type is $99. With the coupon code, it is going to be $67.15. The U and I rail are normally $89. They're going to be $58.65. So I'll leave those links in the description. Again, if you guys have any questions, drop it in the comments. Please like and share this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.